you and me, we're fucking good enough. We just might not be at places or points where we necessarily want to be, but that doesn't mean we can't work to get there. And that's okay. Your journey doesn't have to be the same time frame as somebody else's. Baby girl, you have to stop comparing yourself to other people. It hurts you when you choose to compare yourself to other people because, listen, not everybody has experienced the life that you have. No one grew up where you grew up. No one had the struggles you had. No one had the injuries, the surgeries, the you name it experience that you have. When I think of myself, I don't know anybody else who grew up moving 13 times, having exercise-induced asthma, struggling with an eating disorder, had 4 abdominal surgeries in the midst of just like lifing all before age 25. So for me to compare myself to anyone else, it's not fair to me because nobody has walked the life that I have walked. No one has gone through the things that I have gone through. And yes, there are so many women out there who are using kettlebells, but nobody else out there that's using kettlebells is the same as me. Nobody else got to that point the way I got to that point. And the same goes for you. So when you start noticing yourself, comparing yourself to other people, and you start to feel kind of heavy, you start to feel kind of jealous, and you start to feel kind of icky, realize it is kind of icky. It's gross to compare yourself to anyone other than you. And this is something that I really struggled with growing up. So before I got into fitness, I was in performing. I went to college for musical theater, so I spent a lot of my time growing up dancing, singing, acting, and in that field, it is extremely subjective. So I remember I would go on auditions and I wouldn't get parts. And it was hard. I would like ask my mom, well, why do you think I didn't get it? And it would always come down to, well, maybe the other little girl is prettier, or maybe she's more talented. It started to make me feel like, well, I guess I'm just not good enough. Or there would also be some times where I would just feel so jealous of the other girl that I would like distance myself. Like there were times where I would get casted in a show, but maybe I wouldn't get the part, and I would just be kind of a bitch to whoever got the part over me because I was jealous. And I was kind of mean in a way to, I think what I was trying to do was protect myself or make myself feel better. And I didn't. It ended up making me feel kind of cold, kind of mean. And I'm sure it didn't make anybody else within my circle feel good. And I remember when I left theater, things got better because there hasn't been anything else in my life that has been as subjective as performing. But even in fitness, you know, there have been times where I've compared myself to other people, whether it's I'm not as lean as her or I'm not as strong as her. And again, it's just not fair. I remember when I first got on social media and I was really trying to build up my kettlebell business, I would see other women that looked like they were my age who were also kind of getting into kettlebells around the same point in time. And I would be so frustrated if I could see that they were lifting heavier weights than me. There would be times I would just like skip my workout to try to mimic what they're doing on social media to almost prove to myself that I'm worthy, I'm a great trainer, I'm just as strong. And in reality, me trying to tie my worth to that stuff was just so hurtful to me. Listen, I need you to hear me on this. You and me, just our being here on this planet, we have inherent self-worth.
Are you ready to start building strength but feel overwhelmed by complicated workouts and influencers on social media? Foundations is your answer. If you're new to strength training and want a simple, effective way to get stronger, build muscle, and drop body fat, Foundations was designed just for you. What you'll need to get started are just 3 kettlebells. That's it. These 3 kettlebells are all you need to unlock your strength, start building muscle, and start seeing real results. There's no fancy moves, no complicated routines, just the basics that will help you to progress safely and confidently. What you'll get when you join: simple, proven exercises where you will master foundational movements like squats, deadlifts, and presses that will give you strength and confidence. A progressive training program, step-by-step video and written guidance to help you improve no matter where you are starting from. A safe, effective training routine. You'll get to focus on form and build a body that's strong from the inside out. And the best part, it's DIY. You can start right away, no waiting around. You just buy the program today and you get to start building strength from the comfort of your home. You don't need to be fancy to get strong. You just need a solid foundation and the right approach. Foundations is perfect for the woman who is new to strength training and wants to take it at her own pace. She wants to feel empowered, she wants to feel strong, and she wants to feel more confident in her body. If you're ready to begin, visit www.colleenconlon.com for more details and grab your Foundations program today. Again, all you need are 3 kettlebells. I'll take care of the rest.
There's nothing that we can do or not do that makes us any more or less worthy of going after the things we want to go after, or just feeling worthy to be us in this current situation. When I was tying my worth in lifting these weights, it wasn't helping. Being able to lift something or being as lean as another fitness professional, it didn't make me any better or worse of a trainer. It just meant I was at a different point in my journey in comparison to somebody else. And something else that I never even took into account at the time is I'm comparing myself to people who had really different backgrounds to me growing up. Again, like I was the little girl with asthma with a 10-year eating disorder who had 4 abdominal surgeries, comparing myself to like girls who were in gymnastics up until college. Like, it's just not an even playing field. And even if it was, even if we took somebody who went through some really similar things to me, or we took 2 gymnasts, it's just not going to be the same because there's so many other things going on behind the scenes that play a role in why we get to the place we're at in life when we get there. So when you're comparing yourself to other people, again, there is a heaviness, there is a yuckiness to it. And it's because it starts making us feel like we are inferior, like we're not good enough. And listen, you and me, we're fucking good enough. We just might not be at places or points where we necessarily want to be, but that doesn't mean we can't work to get there. And that's okay. It's okay for your journey to take a little bit longer. Your journey doesn't have to be the same time frame as somebody else's. I think something that's really common in the fitness space is women wanting to drop body fat. And if you have somebody who is trying to get to, let's say, 150 pounds, the woman who is 160 pounds, she's probably going to get there sooner than the woman who is 200 pounds. It's just 2 different starting points. Or I run this program called Swing to Snatch, and I can take 2 women from completely different walks of life. Like I've had athletes, like Olympic level athletes in that course. And I've also had women who have never strength trained before. And they can come in and both accomplish a lot, but the end is going to look different for both of them because they both started at different places. And that's okay. That's a beautiful thing. I think the only time things start to get kind of ugly is when we're comparing ourselves to other people. And again, we shouldn't do that because our journeys are uniquely ours. It's not even really fair to compare ourselves to our past selves, to be honest. If you're still comparing yourself to what you could do 10 years ago, maybe 10 years ago before you had the 3 C-sections, like that's not fair. I think one thing that is nice about looking to the past is realizing, hey, I've done hard stuff before. I can keep putting one foot in front of the other and I can continue to do hard things. But comparing yourself to anyone other than who you were last week is just not cool. And let's also make it pretty clear, last week better be like pretty freaking similar. If you were in some wild accident where maybe you like actually lost a limb or you lost function in part of your body, we can't compare anymore. But the most important thing that I hope you take away from this conversation is that your journey is uniquely yours and there's no rush. And when you compare yourself, you can't be upset that it makes you feel kind of insecure and jealous, because that's what you're doing. You're comparing yourself to see, well, who's better? And maybe sometimes you do compare and you're just like, yeah, I am better than her. But I guarantee if you're that kind of person who keeps looking towards other people and comparing yourself, that's probably not what you're getting most of the time. It's probably actually making you feel kind of shitty about yourself. And the best thing you can do is stop. The best thing you can do is focus on where you are at and where it is you want to go, and devising that action plan to figure out, these are the steps that I need to take in order to get myself to where I eventually want to be. And you are more than capable of doing that.
Thanks for tuning in. If this episode hit home, don't forget to leave a rating and review. Women are stronger together, so share this with a woman who you want to see rise. When we embrace positive takeaways, we level up, and when we share them, we change the world. Follow us on Instagram at The Dangerous Women Podcast and let us know what you want to hear next. And remember, dangerous women redefine wellness and the world. So be fierce, be authentic, be dangerous.